So Kanye West has kind of dropped Elon Musk in it today because he bought Twitter and then he's trying to promote freedom of speech. And then he left him in the worst position ever. And it's quite interesting because I've been telling everyone to give Elon Musk a chance with Twitter. And then Kanye West puts him instantly to a decision, which means that Elon Musk has had to go back against all of his values and take away Kanye West's free speech. Therefore, has Elon Musk shown weakness now that his values can be cracked?
Yeah, I think it makes him vulnerable. If you stand for something, you stand for something. And this has shown cracks and made him look vulnerable, which allows people to cancel him.
In today's cancel culture now, you've got to be very careful with your company's brand and whether you can be cancelled or can't be cancelled. And there's two ways that you can go about it, which 90% of the companies these days try their utmost best to not be cancelled. And I think it's because of the structure of those companies. You've got a boss coming down on you saying everything's got to be clean, we can't be cancelled. And it gets so squeaky clean, it actually goes too far the other way. And you kind of come across as sort of like this weird hybrid of a charity, which you could never fulfill because of how perfect you are displaying your company.
I completely agree. And I think a great example of a company that doesn't do that is Ryanair. Their TikTok and their Twitter is very much like, you want a better quality flight where it's a bit more comfortable, you got more legroom, you got better food. Bye. They know what they're selling. And even the founder has done interviews where he's like, I wanted to remove toilets.
Yeah.
Like he has his values are make flights as cheap as possible. That's what he stands for. That's what he wants from his company. And he stood by that always. So it's uncancelable because no matter what you say, he's achieving what he wanted to achieve.
And I think that comes down to the fundamentals of supply and demand. So if your prices are low and you know your customers have no other option, that gives you a lot more power in the market than someone, say, like British Airways, where you're back into the market, where you've got Virgin, you've got American Airlines, you've got, I think, Delta are back now. So you've got a lot more options in the marketplace, and it's more likely to be cancelled, like, say, British Airways than Ryanair. They've got that brand strength and their proposition in the market.
I would love to know internally how those things are spoken about, because I think it's something that has been spoken about, and you can tell through their overall brand messaging, which is shown incredibly well through TikTok and through Twitter, where it's the exact same viewpoint. The way they speak to their customers, the way they deal with customer complaints, everything is very much don't want it, go. So they've created a business which isn't cancelable. Yeah, that's right. It sounded like a fake word, didn't it? I mean, it basically is, isn't it? It's a fake word. Literally made up like a year ago. So I'm seeing more and more companies going the opposite way of apologizing for things, running towards these political movements saying, we support this, we want to do as much as we can, having never shown any interest in it in the past. And when the smallest little hiccup happens, they are cancelled, their company is ruined, people are leaving, people are kind of unraveling more and more issues from these businesses which weren't even issues in the past. And I think that's what's ruining so many businesses now.
I think in ways as well, it's showing the fear of the marketing side. The fear of them losing their job is then being funneled through into the marketing of that company. Therefore, if their company gets cancelled, then on their CV, say like Starbucks gets cancelled, on the person who's head of marketing for Starbucks,
True.
that's on their CV now. So they were like, says you were at Starbucks between 2021 and 2022. Was that the year when they poured hot boiling coffee on that little orphan? And then she's going to have to be like, yeah. So then that she's lost her job and she's lost her career. Therefore, they cannot make any mistakes. So that lack of job security is being projected through the brand.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you make a brand robust and uncancelable?
The best way to do this is to stay true to your business values and your business messaging, and don't allow any sort of political messages from outsiders change that. So any certain movements, any sort of social media trends, anything that you believe may help your growth due to the current social media trend, if you attach yourself to these things purely to please what you think is the majority, you will lose the audience that you already have and the clients and the customers that you already have, because you're stepping away from your company's values and messages.
So we're thinking like, what? Are you thinking like the LGBT flag thing?
Yeah.
So changing your logo?
Yeah.
Because there was that very famous thing where they looked at the Middle East logos and they didn't change them, kind of thing.
So, I mean, if anyone doesn't know that, it's bloody hilarious. So during Pride Month, you see all these companies suddenly putting flags absolutely everywhere. Like everything they sell, everything they do has a rainbow in it. Great stuff. And suddenly they're supporting LGBT communities through this time. And I think Maltesers was an example of this. Maltesers, they made their logo a rainbow. And then in the Middle East, it was like,
yeah.
didn't change at all.
Yes. Mercedes did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BMW did it as well. They just don't care, because they can't care, because it will ruin them. Absolutely ruin them.
And you've got the marketing person in the Middle East fearing their job, and then you've got the person in Europe fearing their job. So therefore, they're making terrible decisions. So in my mind, as soon as you enter this realm of trying to please an audience, then you are always putting yourself as a target for people to try and cancel you. Any kind of apology, any kind of cause that you're jumping on, you're trying to project this perfect, clean company that is so good for the world that it's actually impossible to be like that 24/7. And I think it is better for your company to just say, we're not perfect. We're not always perfect, but this is us. This is what we believe in always. We can't do anything about that, but good luck to them. Best of luck for them, and we will, of course, hope the best for them. But we know as a company we can't do anything about it.
Just because you haven't changed your logo to a flag doesn't mean you want to go out and stab every gay person. There's no correlation between the two. And I think companies want to please too many people when realistically, the more people you're trying to please, the more people you're going to offend, and the less big supporters you're going to get. You would much rather have 10 dedicated customers than 100 who kind of know you but aren't really that bothered. And that's what you'll get if you go heavy on supporting things which aren't necessarily fitting to your brand.
And let me tell you, they will come down on you hard as soon as you show any weakness. That's it. If you try to be perfect all of the time, then that's it. You've set yourself up for being a target. And that comes down on you hard, and it is to panic stations. You're in the news for all the wrong reasons. And in my advice for anyone, if this happens to you, if someone tries to cancel you, don't do anything. Business as usual. Keep going. It will blow over. I don't even need to give examples of how many companies. In fact, you know why? I'm going to give the biggest one I can think of. The BP oil spillage. My God, the amount of wildlife that were killed during the BP oil spillage and they didn't do anything about it. I think there was an apology, and I'll have to research if they actually did anything about this, but to my memory, they didn't. They just fixed the pipe. They didn't do any kind of cleanup work. They didn't try to say, look, this is what we've done to make amends. And then people still buy BP petrol to this day all around the world. So it's just blown over. It's done.
Same as McDonald's, where they found how the chicken nuggets were made. And it was just like mushed up. All the worst bits of chickens mushed into a nugget. And what happened? No one cared.
Our own sales probably went up at that point.
Yeah, because we're like, oh, it actually does have a bit of chicken in. Sweet. McDonald's didn't say anything. They don't care.
And what's interesting about that is their target audience didn't care.
No.
Because nobody has ever promoted McDonald's as a health product.
So it made zero difference.
And then you're trying to say, oh, by the way, you know that product that's not very healthy. It's even less healthy. And they're like, cool.
What do I do about that?
I'd say keep going. I mean, what you want to do? Change the battery now?
Nah, there's no point. We'll just finish off on this one.
Yeah. I've got something.
Okay.
So therefore, you need to make sure that your brand is absolutely consistent with the messages. You've got to create a persona, create a person in your head who is uncancelable. They are unapologetic about what they say and what they do. This is what we do. That doesn't mean you can't support good causes, but it's got to be a cause that aligns with your brand and your objectives as a company, not just to avoid being cancelled. Because let's be honest, all of these logos being changed to flags is because they don't want to be cancelled, not because the company wants to support it. So that camera just reappeared back on.
No. And it's dead.
And it's dead again. So what I would do, especially for your social media presence, I'm going to say this a lot in our content because I think it's genius, is you need one person in your company to be the voice for the entire brand. I'm saying that BP themselves, Starbucks themselves, should have one person on their Twitter account, and they reply to all of the tweets and they post all of the content. So it is one language. You literally interview every single person to run your social media, and you think, is this a person I want to be my brand? Because they're going to speak on your behalf. Therefore, your brand can develop personality. It actually has layers to the personality. Therefore, that allows you to be uncancelable because you know what those values are and you're not chasing different values. You're not chasing not being cancelled. You're basically saying, is it important to Hannah, who runs our social media now? And if it's important to her, then it's important to your brand. And when you're replying to comments, it has a certain tone of voice. It has all of the values, it has all of the information. Does she want to reply to this one? Does she not want to reply? Everything is consistent. Therefore, you've got a brand messaging that people can relate to. It's very human-like in that sense, which brands are struggling with now because you've got different people on the social media. You're sharing like good news content, or you are sharing a new product. And it's not very human-like. It's just one big robot of a company.
And another reason that is very true is because, say your business does believe in certain causes and does want to have certain messaging. If it's multiple people working and putting out content but not communicating well, you will mess up. Because it's individual voices rather than the brand's voice. And a perfect example of this is Gymshark. When they posted the Black Lives Matter Black Square, they went heavy on saying that they support black athletes and they're having more black influencers on their Gymshark athletes team. Next thing you know, someone's commenting about BLM, and Gymshark's account replied saying something about Blue Lives Matter and Avatar. And it was obviously very misunderstood from the person that wrote it from Gymshark's account. And they had to do this massive apology. And it was all, we can't believe that this happened. We've spoken to them. We haven't fired them. But we are really sorry. We are trying to educate people internally. And it's like, if Gymshark genuinely believed in that cause, they would have sat down their whole team and educated them on that cause because they care about it.
Yeah, agreed.
But they don't.
Be unapologetic for who you are. As soon as you apologize, that is showing weakness. Be somebody, know what your values are, and just stay solid all of the time. Never apologize, never follow the trends. One other thing I want to say.
I thought he was trying to get in.
Yeah, that did put me off. But I think they would have.
He's on the phone, I think. He's
okay.
walking back and forth.
What else do I want to say?
Oh, I booked it till 5 till 6 anyway.
Yeah. Just thinking.
I mean, it's already 15 minutes.
Yeah, but I reckon we'll cut a lot because we started a bit sluggish
Yeah,
and
it was a bit.
we're kind of into it now. Let me just have a think. Oh yeah, I remembered what it was going to be. You ready? So I remember when our company was doing the BLM thing was going on, we made a decision because we were uneducated on it, because we knew nothing about it, and because therefore, due to that lack of awareness of what is actually going on, we decided, let's stay out of it. Let's just stay out of it. And then do some research, decide if it's something that you want to support. However, we made that decision as what the company is saying. And a company doesn't really have an opinion. A lot of the time, you can have brand messaging. You can have that one Hannah doing your social media. But as a brand, it's only pretending. So what we say is that your employees within it can have their own opinion. You can't control what their opinion is, and you can't tell them what their opinion is. Therefore, if we went out there and say, for extreme example, we were against the BLM movement, then all of your employees are like, whoa, we're for it. And suddenly we work at this company who is against it. So therefore, you have to let the people who work within it, they are the people who are being true to themselves and true messaging and believe in it. So whatever a company thinks, it doesn't matter because a company does not think. It's the people within it that makes up the thoughts and the directions of a company. So let the people within it express themselves and just don't try and force anything on them.
I also think your actions will suggest what you stand for a lot more than anything else. So in that example, the people saying, we actually did get a few DMs from people being like, excuse me, why are you not posting that black square?
What did we do?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And we've also had people DM us saying, you don't get enough ethnic minorities on your podcast. You don't get enough women on your podcast. I'm not going to go back to them saying, I'm a woman and I run the business, or
a list
actually
of, a list
we
of
had this person,
minorities,
this one,
yeah.
this one, this one, this one, and they were all black. Like,
Yeah.
all of these things make you so much weaker. Your actions are the thing which can just shut everyone up. And silence. Because what difference does it make? And 99.9% of the time, the person that's on your back and wants to cancel you was never going to buy from you anyway.
It was also a little bit of a poke or a prod just to see
Yeah.
if you'd react. That's what they want. They want to then, to me, those people that try and cancel a company are nobodies who have nothing going on, and what they're trying to do is make you feel bad and pretend that they are a better person than they are. And I think that's something to remember as well. They always give up and move on to the next thing anyway, if you just ignore it.
Also, if you're kind of like having a bad day and people are trying to cancel you, go on their profile and you'll feel great. It's never someone where you're like, oh, damn it, I wish they were a customer.
That's very true.
It's never happened before, ever.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, be unapologetic, be solid to your values,
So go from it, so in conclusion.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think what they're going to be.
You could just say, so in conclusion, stay silent and stay true to who you are, sort of thing.
So in conclusion, be true to who you are, be completely solid and unapologetic. You don't answer to anybody as a company. You know your values and you stick with them and you project them every single day across your content and in your voice.
Nice.
Nice?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool.
Are we done?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay, cool. Do you want to do a thumbnail? Because I always forget.